Hello, Gemini, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. I'm leaving the lights down low today because it's I call this a Bronte Sisters day outside. It's very gloomy and rainy, and instead of a lot of light inside, I just like to go with candlelight and soft music. So just kind of keeping that mood going, nice and quiet today. This will be your weekly reading for the week of May 25th through the 31st. Let's try not to be tongue-tied. During that time, we will have a new moon, and that comes in on the 27th. And of course, a new moon is a really good time for fresh starts, new beginnings, a good time to start to learn a new skill or start a new project that you might have, or even make new decisions. We then, of course, move into the waxing crescent energy. And that's a time of heightened senses, just a good time to execute the things that you've just started and, plan, make little adjustments and things. So just kind of live up to your own expectations. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. All right, this will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Gemini. So, of course, please keep that in mind and take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this reading, you and your loved ones are safe. All right, let's see what the Gemini Collective has going on for the week. And as I'm shuffling, I would like to say that since my readings are free to you, all that I ask in return is that you hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel and it is super easy for you to do. So I will give you just a moment while I'm shuffling to do that right now. Thank you so much. And if you've been a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and helping me build a community here. I'm starting to see repeating faces, and just to say that I really do appreciate you and I do see you. So thank you so much. And my cards are not really wanting to shuffle today. We will give that one more shot. Okay. All right, we'll get moving here on this reading. Gemini, for May 25th through the 31st. You and your loved ones are safe. Let's see what we have going on for the Gemini Collective. All right, ready to go here. All right, your present energy, Gemini. Lots of choices, which is funny. This card just came out in the Taurus reading a little bit earlier. So you're sitting in an area where you've got lots of choices to make. So that could mean things going on. Just choose wisely. Anytime you have choices like that, sometimes it's just a good time, because these are cups, sometimes these choices can be emotional. And so it's just a really good thing to take a breath and you just kind of relax and make sure you're choosing well. Your current situation is the Queen of Swords. So you're sitting in an energy of being, just very clear and concise, but understanding about things like logic and intellect, and also your messaging that, the Queen of Swords can be a little bit sharp-tongued, just knows, and it's just that those words come out precisely and quickly and sharply. So, if other people are sensitive to that sort of speak, it can come off as insensitive, but maybe it's not. It's just very logical. But in that logic, it's also the understanding of the logic within your kingdom. So it's understanding the intellect and logic of those around you as well. So not a bad energy there. What is at the root of your situation is the Moon card. So, Moon card is kind of one of our cards of mystery, like a mysterious path. These are things that come to us in the night. They could come to you in a dream, things that come to you from a place of intuition. So, and I'm going to say again, this is very similar to the Taurus reading. I think Taurus had the High Priestess, which is a very similar energy to this. So if you have a Taurus in your midst, Gemini, you may want to go check that out. But yeah, at the root of these choices and this logic that's coming in for you, it could be a dream that you had, or could be some feeling or just intuition. You're drawing on some sort of other information coming into you that maybe you can't even quite put your finger on, but it's drawing you to, to make these choices. In your recent past here is the Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles is, much like the Queen of Swords with that queenly energy of understanding. It's more the maternal side of the suit. So this is an understanding of the material world or financial world that have things having to do with tangible material things, but it's also your understanding of it, but also again your kingdom. So understanding how the people around you manage money or manage their world around them. So it's your ability to have that sort of understanding, and you're coming in from a place of that with the material world, but um that's the energy that you're coming into it with, but you're using your logical type energy and sharp tongue. What is on your mind is Six of Pentacles. So this is a card of giving and receiving. And I'm going to say again, I feel like this reading is so similar to Taurus. It's so interesting when I do these group readings, the similarities that I can kind of see and how different signs are interacting with each other. Not that the cards are coming out in the same place, but it's like the same cards in different spaces for a different sign, if that makes sense. So on your mind is giving or receiving. And I always ask the person that I'm reading for, where do you see yourself in this card? Do you see yourself in this giving position, or do you see yourself in the receiving position, both of which happen at different times of all of our lives? So, but be just as comfortable with the receiving, which can sometimes be harder for people than giving. Giving is usually much easier than it is to receive, right? So think about that card that's on your mind is just maybe, that exchange, that giving and receiving exchange. What is just ahead of you is the Ace of Wands. So here in front of you this week comes like a new passion, a new thing to get you excited. This is if you have a question in your mind, an Ace of Wands is always just a big yes for us, but this is something that's coming to you maybe from, again, some sort of intuition or something, but it's you're being led to this new passion through whatever this circumstance that's going on with you. You're being led to it, and this could be one of the choices, one of the things that you choose, that you just decide that you just love that choice. Now, when it's a passion, it could be something as minor as just an object or a material thing or something that you love. Like someone gave me this crystal at some point, and immediately I was like, oh, I love this crystal, right? That to me is as representative of a wand. But it could also be that you discover a hobby that you really really enjoy and love putting your spending your time with. It's anything that kind of gets you excited, that you just love. It's something you enjoy having in your life. In your advice position is the King of Pentacles. So we go from your past energy here, from the Queen to the King, which our King is all knowledgeable. Where the Queen is very understanding and maternal, this is more the masculine energy of understanding and putting these things into play, knowing how to put everything into play that brings the pentacle to us, right? This is someone who knows how to get things done, but also knows how to motivate their kingdom for them to get things done. This is kind of that boss energy. So your advice is to kind of level up a little bit in that, from going from that understanding to that really confident knowledge about the material world. What is beyond your control this week is the Seven of Swords. So this this card is typically read as cunning, crafty, theft, hidden agenda. That's kind of what, as tarot readers, we learned. But I have come to a different understanding of this card because it's sword energy, because it's air energy. The more I look at it, the more I think that it's leaving a couple of, it's like, imagine that all of these swords are thoughts that you have, and things that you want to say to someone, and you say a couple of them, but you kind of hold back a little bit. And that's beyond your control. That maybe you hold some information close to your chest this week, that you drop a couple of things that need to be said, but not quite everything. So, but again, it also can be seen as theft, hidden agenda. So make sure you're just watching around you this week to make sure that's not an energy that's in your midst and you're missing it. So watch for that. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid, is the Seven of Pentacles here. So this, if I hope that's your secret desire, this is kind of our card of harvest and kind of waiting for something to come in here, some seed that you've planted. There's a lot of pentacles popping up in this reading too. Now we've got the 6 and the 7, and the King and the Queen. So This is something to do with your material world this week. Maybe this could be something coming in for you, which would be awesome. I'm going to see what Geminis I know might have some money coming into them. So, in your outcome position, more pentacles. So, whatever this is adds to your stability, which is great. And you're going about things in a very logical way. You've got many choices to make, and you're using your intuition to get there. You and your loved ones are safe. It seems like a good thing to me. What is hidden from you this week is the Queen of Cups. So, what's hidden from you is your understanding about the emotions of your kingdom. So, make sure if that's something that you're aware of. Again, this Queen of Swords can be a little bit biting, and if this Queen of Cups is hidden from you, that means that maybe what's not present for you is your ability to understand the emotions of the people around you, and maybe if you are being a little bit biting of tongue, to maybe take some time to keep that in mind this week, so that you're not hurting feelings and that sort of thing, if that makes sense. So, all right, let's get a final word here, Gemini, from the Soul Oracle deck. Final word for Gemini. Let's see here. What do we have? Quietly serve, which I don't know if that's going to be super possible with that Queen of Swords there, to be very quiet about that. And this could have more to do with this giving or receiving card. And especially, if you're giving, it's a quiet thing that you're going to do, right? You're going to give, but be quiet about it. Only only you need to know about that, and begin to explore. So, what are you beginning to explore? Maybe something in the financial realm, the material realm. You're exploring when you're having all these choices. And I do see having choices as a luxury. Anytime any of us have many, many choices at our disposal, that's a luxury. And you need to be very thankful and grateful about that, because, there are certain people that you're limited by if your choices are very limited, that's the way your life is at the moment, right? As you get better at doing life, it kind of expands your choices, but just keep that in mind, that to be very thankful and very grateful for having all those choices, because that's very important. But begin to explore might be about these choices, that maybe you're going to make a choice that you wouldn't normally make, and that's kind of an exploration for you, and kind of getting out of your own sandbox and getting out of your own way a little bit. But Gemini, keep in mind, remember that you're going to end up this week, feeling very stable in the material and financial world. Watch out again for the Seven of Swords in your midst. Let's see, we do have 3 7s on the table. 1, 2, 3. So you may want to look up angel number 777, Gemini, see if that means anything to you. Anytime I see repeating numbers like that, I think of that in like a synchronistic way. That might be a number that you're seeing this week too. And if it is, of course, drop me a comment down below. Let me know if that's a number that you see or that you've seen a lot this week. So, Gemini, thank you so much for being here with me today. I do hope there's something in this reading that you can take away and use, something that touched you. And again, if you're comfortable leaving a comment, drop me a comment down below, and let me know if there's something like this going on in your life. What is it that you're exploring? Is there something that you do have a lot of choices and things to make and narrow down? And are you feeling very stable when it comes to your finances and your material world this week? So, also, I do post readings every week, so come back next week and we'll see if this evolves or if there's something completely different here for you. And again, if you like my reading style, like and subscribe. It'll help you find me next week, and that's very important. So, Gemini, thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.